Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So we've been decoding REM Losing My Religion, and we've got our extractions. We got our variance percent to the tune of 2.1%, which is kind of an interesting number these days. Um, we've got set enough, changed to set it up twice in the song, and we've got our extractions. We've got these to go through stock market, finance, uh, genetics, medical, chemical, artificial intelligence, laboratories, research groups, and now we're on technology. So it's been a bit of an interesting one. So set enough changed to set it up, and that happened twice again. So if you cross off the S because it's still in set it up, you cross off the I because it's still in set it up. You cross off the E because it's still in set it up. You cross off the U because it's still here and set it up. You're left with A, D, N, O, G, H, T, T, P. And that happened twice. Bring A, D, N, O, G, H, T, T, P down twice. And when you get to the overlap, then it repeats unless you're scrambling the letters, which we're not at this time. And I apologize, this is a new camera and it seems to be fluctuating in brightness. I'm not too sure why, but we're just going to roll with it. So we're going to start with the first three letters, ADN, and that ends up being ADN Technologies Limited, ITC Solutions in Bangladesh. So if you move on from that, you have DN, which ends up being DN Technology Limited, and that's information technology that they deal with. If you move on from that, you have NOG, which ends up being BWXT NOG Lynchburg, and they're that nuclear operations group. They were in research groups, remember? NOG is also Nigeria Oil and Gas Technology, NOG Tech. And NOG is also Northern Oil and Gas, and they deal with some technology as well, apparently. If you move on from that, you have OG, which ends up being OG Technologies Incorporated, and they deal with machine vision technology. If you move on from that, you have GHT, which ends up being Global Heating Technologies. And there's that word global again, which I'm not sure if I dig these days. And the heating technologies is a bit interesting if you look at some of the weather. Yeah, for instance, in Texas right now. So kind of interesting stuff there. If you move on from, no, actually, GHT also ends up being GHT Technology Ltd. I didn't write down what they deal with, I guess, but it's a company. If you move on from that, you have GH, which ends up being GH Technology, Corporate Solutions, Medical Management Systems and Services. If you move on from that, you have HTT, which ends up being Shenzhen Huantong Testing Technology Company Ltd. HTT Technology, and they do product testing. HTT is also Hyperloop Transportation Technologies. They say bringing airplane speeds to the ground, and it looks like a tube, like a la Futurama. And not too sure how it works, but it looks kind of interesting. You also have HTT Group, which is Europe's specialist for sales of tools and high-tech equipment. And if you move on from that, you have TTP, which ends up being TTP Group. Uh, they develop new products and technologies. And if you move on from that, you have PAD, which ends up being PAD Technology Ltd., and they deal with renewable energy. And PA ends up being Pennsylvania College of Technology, and PA is also Pennsylvania Institute of Technology. And that gets you through the overlap. So that gets you through going forward. And now you can come back, and we're coming back. And you start with PT, and this is coming back, and PT ends up being PT Tech, and they deal with diesel engines, friction torque limiters, gearboxes, clutches, brakes, and that sort of thing. Uh, you also have PT, ends up being plastics technology. And if you move on from that, you have TT, which ends up being TT Technologies, trenchless equipment solutions, whatever that is. TT is also TT Technology, high quality professional audio loudspeakers. So Phoenix ought to dig that. And I'll provide these links, guys. HGO. Then, if you move on from TT, you have HGO, which ends up being HGO Technology Incorporated. Computer consulting, network engineering, database design, web designer, uh, information technology, and things of that nature. Um, is what they deal with. But if you move on from that, you have GON, which ends up being Qingdao GON Technology Company Ltd. They deal with research, production, and sale of plastic raw materials and products, which is kind of interesting because you had plastic technology up here, and now you have a company down here that deals with plastic technology. So, yeah, I don't know why that is fluctuating so much on that. Maybe I'll have to try to adjust the settings on that. But anyway, moving on from that, we're just going to keep going. You got ND, which ends up being ND Technology. They deal with computer hardware and IT equipment. ND is also Information Technology, North Dakota State Government. So there's some government stuff for you. ND also ends up being University of North Dakota, Information Technology. So not a whole lot going on with the University of North Dakota there, but it's a definite hit, Information Technology. If you move on from that, you have NDA, which ends up being NDA Technologies Incorporated, and their business is nuclear fuel rod scanners. So there's more nuclear stuff. If you move on from that, you have DAP, which ends up being DAP Technology, and they deal with aerospace and defense. And last but not least, you have APT, which is APT LLC, and they deal with more information technology. And that gets you through going forwards and backwards in technology. Now I think random hits is next, and then I think there's going to be translations if we can get anything out of those, and then we'll turn that into numbers and go again. Then we'll turn it into simple binary code, and go again, and then we'll run the gematria against. Well, it's looking a whole lot like North Dakota University of North Dakota, because they're the ones that seem to keep coming up. So who else are you going to go with? But we'll see if anything changes our mind. And also, before we close out this video, I'm considering going live tomorrow, just doing a little chat. If anyone that shows up, never tried it before, a little Q&A maybe live. Try to answer questions in real time. Or just talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about, whether it's Mandela Effect related or not. So, Um, and that's going to be it for this video, I think we covered everything. So for now, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. When appropriate, thanks for our comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And thanks for watching, guys. I think random hits will be next, but don't hold me to it. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your evening.